Gordon did his magic though.
All right, well, I think I know most of you, but for anyone who doesn't know me, my name is Gordon Cox. I work at the IT Help Desk. And today, I guess we're going to be going over some Teams information. I'm going to start pretty basic. I'm going to kind of rely on you guys. If you have any questions or things that are specific to your position that you have questions about, please feel free to ask. I will try to leave time at the end of each section for questions, and then at the end we'll do a big Q&A. So, has everyone in here at least used Teams for chat and that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you share your screen for the recording?
Yes, that is an excellent idea. All right, so this is, let me pull up my notes here. My computer went to sleep. All right, so the most basic feature of Teams are the Teams channels. So you can see here that IT has a couple different Teams channels focusing on different things. This is the one that I'm using for my cloud-based stuff. So I made a channel inside my team called Adoption Material. And this has kind of become the hub for this presentation. So I will be going over more of the things inside here, but to start with, I'm just going to be going over general navigation. So the activity feed is anytime you are mentioned in a channel or one of the channels gets a notification, that'll show up there. If you miss a call, that'll also show up there. Your chat should be pretty familiar. You can if you want to talk with someone that you haven't chatted with, you can use that icon there at the top. You can add multiple people to the chat and make kind of like a little ad hoc team if you want to discuss a specific thing with multiple people. These are previous chats from team meetings. So those Teams meetings that you have become chats that you can go back to and reference. They're sorted chronologically, so I pinned these so I didn't lose access to them. Yeah.
If someone starts a chat with you, do you get notified of that?
When they start the chat, let's see, who have I not talked to? Oh, I have. Basically, they won't see that you've started the chat until you actually send them a message.
Okay.
But then as soon as you send them a message, they will show up here in your recents as the most recent one.
Okay.
With an unread message. So when you click on the teams, it'll give you a tile with all of the different teams you're in. If you have already been in a team, what you're used to seeing is probably when you click on Teams, it'll go right into the team that you're used to seeing. You can use the All Teams button at the top to go back, or you can just click the Teams once you're already in Teams to go to the main tile. Assignments is something that they've added. We haven't really messed with it too much. Once our students are on Microsoft as well, that might be something that we can look into. One of the really powerful benefits of Teams is how well it integrates and the collaboration tools it lets you do. So if you do have a class and you have some material or a syllabus that you want to make sure everyone has access to, you can invite those users to your team and then just share the syllabus one time in the Teams channel, and then everyone in the team will get access to it. Calendar just hooks into your Outlook calendar. It's kind of nice because if I want to, I can schedule a new meeting. And instead of having to add attendees, I can add a channel. And it will send that meeting invite to everyone in the channel.
Oh, that's nice.
And then when you go to the channel, you can see so when you do this, it will automatically send an email to everyone. I did this today as just like a demo for everybody, but I didn't keep in mind that we had 2 of our networking technicians in that channel too, so they actually showed up for my test meeting and were wondering what was going on. So just keep in mind all that stuff is automatic when you do it this way, so if you're just doing a test, make sure that everyone knows first.
Well, quick, how would I know who's in my team?
So the only way so if you are an owner of the team, then when you are on your team, you can click the ... and go to Manage Team. Inside, you can see the other owners and then the members as well. And then the channels if you wanted to. So this is a little bit more on the administration side. If you do decide to create your own team for a department or something like that, this is something you'll need to know. But you can come in here and you can add and remove members. So as people join or leave your department, you could drop them or add them to this and they'd automatically gain access to all of the material that you have in your teams. Channels, you can create private channels. So if you had confidential documentation or something like that you only wanted certain people in your office to be able to access, you could create a private Teams channel, and then for that, for anyone to be able to see that, you actually have to individually add them to the channel themselves. Otherwise, it won't be visible to them. And for each of those channels, so I guess just check real quick. Does anyone have any questions so far? I'm moving a little bit fast, but okay.
Zoom in just a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, I like that writing bigger too.
I can try. That might be bigger. So, if you wanted to create a team, it's pretty easy. You just come to the main teams page, and then there will be this link to create or join a team. Some of the teams will be advertised here, but you can also search through teams if there's a specific one you're joining, like the intranet. When we moved, I'm already a member of it, so I can't search for it, but that would be an example of a team that exists that you could join. When you are creating the team, you do have some different options. Really, the only one that we are doing is like the staff sort of stuff. Once our students have, because right now our students have Gmail accounts as their student accounts, so they are not members of our same teams like they will be in the future. Once they get moved over to Microsoft, then the integration and stuff that you can do through Teams will be a lot more seamless. They'll just log in with their school account. They'll automatically have access to a bunch of stuff whenever you invite them to your group.
When is this migration to occur?
We're planning over the summer to have the new ones in place by the fall semester.
Thank you.
So will we still have Microsoft Office? Will we still be sending emails, or will it all be through?
Yeah, all of our staff accounts will remain the same.
Okay.
It's just we're moving the students from a Gmail domain into a Microsoft so that everything can communicate better. Yeah, I don't know if you've ever tried if you have ever tried to invite your students to a team, you actually they have to create a guest account on our domain, and then you have to invite that guest account, and it causes some confusion. So hopefully this will be a lot more streamlined system.
Would that be necessary with the Gmail account still be active for this people to still use it, or does that shut out the account?
The Gmail account will still be active.
Okay.
All the credentials and everything will be the same.
So we can still utilize like Google Drive and
That's
stuff like
correct.
that.
Yeah.
Is there a way to organize your teams? I mean, some of us have like 20 teams. Can you clump them?
Not that I'm aware of. I mean, you can filter it by the team type.
There's a way to put it in a list down the side as well, instead of in tiles.
Oh, well, you know something I don't.
Well, my husband did it, and I don't know how he did it, but it's actually really nice because here you go in and you go out, you have to go in, you go out, but if they're all on the list, then you just click on the list when you want to move through. So, Gordon, I don't know how to do that, but I know it's possible.
Yeah, so 3 dots will get you manage teams where you'll be able to like
See it as a list.
And you might be able,
It's under managed teams.
but sorry, once you're in teams, back to all teams.
I don't have an all teams since I changed my view.
Oh, because it's not, it's down at the bottom and it's not letting you scroll down there? Like, because you changed your display settings and zoomed in?
Oh, yeah, there you did it. That's what I think that's what I was talking
Oh,
about.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I understand now. Okay. So as was just pointed out to us, if you don't want to have to switch back and forth between your teams, you can change it to list view. So instead of having those tiles where you click into each one, now we have a collapsible menu where we can see all of the teams at once. You can click on, so that's a little bit easier access if you have a lot of teams. Oh, great pointer, thank you. One of the things to be aware of is kind of the purpose of the chat and the teams. The teams posts are for kind of like, we're sharing information that the entire department needs to be aware of. Once that post comes through, you can reply to the specific post, whereas in your chat, you're just typing back and forth. In the teams, the idea is that you limit it to the topic. So if I wanted to talk about this test email using the Teams email feature, instead of just hitting new conversation and making a new post, I would reply to that, and that would keep it all centralized in one conversation.
I think you can also select within a chat. Let's say Courtney and I have a chat, and there was something that she stated that I could reply specifically to.
You can, yes. It's just not as necessary in the chat channels because those are generally meant more for chatting. And if you do that kind of thing in the actual channel announcements, you kind of lose the functionality of being able to go in there and retrieve relevant information quickly. But one of the great things about Teams is the search bar. This will search, you can search for files, you can search for people, you can search for channels. You also have a list of commands that you can go through, and there's even more than this.
Just go to slashes.
So you can add people, you can add weather, and then you can add the weather app, and you can specify. I guess we're not quite to this point yet. All right. So let's go ahead and take a little bit deeper dive into what we can do with our channel. So we've talked about posts, general information. You can also use this as kind of a replacement for your network drives, or whenever you want to share files between your team members. It is a lot easier to do it through Teams. All you have to do, you can go to the file section, you can click and upload, you can drag and drop directly from your file explorer into your Teams channel. Once you've done that, everything will be organized into this files section. So if I come in here to projects, all of these are kept up to date all the time. We don't have to worry about whether we're connected to LCSC to get them. Anytime you have an active internet connection, you can access all of your files.
How do you open more than one file? Like once you're in a channel and someone has shared like 5 Excel sheets, how do you open them like at the same time so you can compare them, or do you have to download them?
So there's 3 different ways that you can open files in Teams. By default, when you click on a file, it will open inside Teams. So this just opens up into a browser version, basically, of Excel. If I wanted to, but you're right, once you open up one, you're kind of stuck. So if I want to go back to my files, back into inventory, instead what I can do is I can click the ... and I can say, open, there should be an open an app.
At the top. So if you hit open at the top, it will then give you.
It's got a fly out
Not
window.
showing the little arrow.
Right.
So anyway, you can open it, you can edit in Teams, which we looked at. You can open it in the browser, which would allow you to have multiple in different tabs, but I've set my default to open an app, so whenever I click on one of those, it opens up in an app, just like if you were to use a network drive or something like that. So you can have as many open as you need to. One of the other features to be aware of when you are working out of Teams is autosave is enabled for everything, so you never have to worry about losing your work. It automatically saves to your to your Teams for you, so you can quit worrying about that. One of the other things that we do in IT, we have a software documentation library. So this is just a OneNote. Is that what the app's called? A OneNote documentation. So OneNote is a system that that you can use to organize documentation or stuff like that. And you can add it directly as an app into Teams. We also have a document library, so whenever you put something into Teams, it is saved to what's called a SharePoint site. So we can open these in SharePoint, and the advantage to that is anything that's in SharePoint has version history. So if you were working on a document and say someone opened it up and they made some changes that turned out to be incorrect, or you just wanted to revert them, you could come into Teams and open this in SharePoint, and then in SharePoint you would be able to select which version of the document you would want to use. So there's a really great peace of mind. Even if you change a document to something you don't want to, or someone else does, you can always go back and grab the version that you need.
Do we all have that drop-down menu? I don't see it when I open a document.
So you go to files first, right?
I open up a file,
Okay.
and then
Over here, these little dots,
where?
after sync. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, I maybe gotcha. I don't think I need to get on.
I'm so savvy about
Do
this.
it!
Yeah.
Properties?
I'm sorry, what, you're trying to do the version history, you want the 3 dots next to the file you're on.
Well, that's what I was looking for, and I don't see
So
it.
so what you got,
Right here.
You have to open it
a
up.
little bit to the
I
left, there
see.
you go, right there.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then it would be, and you just go to,
See, mine.
Open
in SharePoint.
Here,
Yeah.
I got that. How did I get that? It seems like she did the same, because see, I have add shortcut to OneDrive.
That's a little different. So if you were to say open in SharePoint right there, it's going to open that full folder, not just the individual file.
Oh, okay,
So
great.
you can do it there too, but.
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
got it, thank you.
So here I've just clicked that Open in SharePoint button, and it's going to be the SharePoint page where we have the same file. And all we have to do at that point is the ... SharePoint and then version history.
I don't see it. Also a different way to do it. It seems like there's version history. SharePoint, that way, there's always.
Everyone feel okay with, do you want me to go over it again?
We got it. We got it.
There are all sorts of different ways.
Gordon, and I don't want to bounce it because maybe you're going to cover this, but are you going to cover the open in OneDrive or the, okay, great.
Yeah.
I find that to be helpful.
Open in OneDrive? Just-
Link to OneDrive, yeah.
Alright, so there is one more thing in here that I think is super useful, and that's tasks. There is technically another add-in that is more powerful called Planner, but tasks is just a really easy way where you can add boards and due dates and assign those to people, so I just use it kind of for organizational purposes. We go to... It's going to take some... So some of the other things that we can add to channels that I set up here, just as a demo, you can set up a web page. So if you guys have information on the web page that you would like to be easily accessible for everyone in your team, you can just add a website here, and it's fully navigatable. They can click on links and do all that stuff. So it makes it easy to surface that reference material. IT also makes tutorial videos, and you can pin channels and videos into your Teams channel, and you can also collaboratively watch these in video calls with other people. So that might be something that would be interesting once the students are on Teams with us for those class videos. When people are doing hybrid classes, you can still have that same collaborative experience. See, what was this one? So this is so Planner is Microsoft's kind of project management suite. So if this is more useful for like staff, I guess, than it is for faculty. But if you do have a project and you'd like to organize that into individual tasks and assign those tasks to people, you have the same board view that we looked at in the tasks. We also have this grid view. We also have a timeline that will illustrate, the different pieces and when they're expected to be completed and who's assigned to them. This is just kind of like a breakdown of so if you do take the time to set up a project through here, you can manage and maintain that project from start to finish just using Teams.
Experiences coming soon to Teams.
You guys probably already know this, but one of the other things you can do, and you can do this straight from the chat, or if you look for someone, you can start a video call with them, and that's what Courtney and I are doing to record this meeting. The nice thing about that is, and this is for the audio call and the video call, if I have Teams on my phone and I'm away from my office, it'll ring on my phone. If I'm in my office, it'll ring on my computer. So it's just, it's a really easy way of making yourself available to people if you want to do that. And also, the downside is it makes it really easy for people to get hold of you. So one of the things that I had to kind of wrap my head around this when I was kind of planning on what I was going to give this presentation about is, for a long time I thought about Teams just as like a chat and kind of an organizational thing, and it really right now is kind of the hub that Microsoft wants you to use to access all of your Microsoft information. So if you need to use Office to make documents, they want you to do it out of Teams. One of the things that we've done that you guys should be aware of is we've moved our home drives off of Redwood and our local servers, and we've moved over to OneDrive. OneDrive directly integrates with Teams, so anything that you share in OneDrive or that you have access to in Teams, you can access on either way. So I can access my OneDrive files through Teams or my Teams files through OneDrive. And to do that,
we could do that from home with their computer too, then?
No VPN. Any computer you log into with your LCSC.edu account can access all of your files at any time.
On all of our
devices.
drives that we've got mapped out.
And that's why it's so important that we have that MFA and stuff to protect that account, because it is the key to a lot more data now.
Yeah, just to clarify, we're talking just cloud-based. Alder, that's still accessible only through VPN. So if you have maps on your computer, like A, B, C, D, Z, those are VPN only. That's not cloud.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sorry, I misunderstood.
Keys to the castle now.
Yeah.
My husband at his work has moved all of his shared drives into Teams.
Yes.
Is that something that we are considering doing?
Yeah.
I mean, no, not necessarily. If your office decides that's how you want to organize your files, yes, there's still personally identified stuff that you wouldn't email to someone, you are not going to put into Teams, okay? Because emailing is sending it through the cloud, Teams is storing to the cloud. So security numbers, things like that, we're never going to want to store that information out in the cloud. So there's always going to be a need to store things on our local servers.
Right, but these are just basic documents.
Yeah, so that's totally up to your department if you want to transition things off, because it takes the management of things off of us when you move it out to Teams, right? You're creating the channel. You're saying who has ownership to it. You're putting your files out there, whereas we create all the other things. So we're pro that as long as you're being careful with who you're sharing it with and what you're putting out there.
Awesome.
So we don't need to have our computers at home, we can use our private computers to access Teams and stuff.
That's correct. Yeah, and like Courtney said, there is some anything that has student PII in it, personally identifiable information, that is in a different class of data. But for general documents, processes, teaching aids, teaching material, anything like that, absolutely put it in Teams. If you have a network location for that, you can move that over to Teams. So when I was setting this up in my office this morning, I had a OneDrive app. All right, so one of my gripes when we moved from the home drives to the Teams channel or the OneDrive is that I was really used to being able to come into my file explorer and then my PC, and I'd have my home drive and my map drive and everything, and I could just click it right there. It was really convenient because I was already in here doing other stuff. And so what we can do is at the top here, whenever you're in one of these file sections, there'll be this sync button. If you click that, it connects to the OneDrive on the computer, which you also need to be logged into. So everyone should probably already be logged into their OneDrive, so this part. Am I already logged in? What's going on?
I can always share my screen if you want to, because I'm logged in.
Okay.
And then you can control my screen if you want to.
It's just that there's so much.
There is.
There's a lot. What was the question? Well, I was just saying there's so much into this. It's a pretty complicated thing.
It is. It integrates with pretty much everything, from what I can tell. It's a really powerful and dynamic tool, but there's very feels like data into it. The good news is for stuff like Teams and making your own channels and doing that stuff, it is pretty straightforward. It's once you start wanting to pull in the other stuff that it gets more complicated.
Do you want me to share?
That'd be great.
And then you can take control. So maybe it's looking a little small on your screen. I'm wondering if
It changes view. Now you can close your chat.
yeah, there you go. You're
You have to focus on content.
there you go. That helps there you go. Maybe
A little better.
a little better.
I'm also dragging around an icon on your screen.
Yeah. I can control if you want.
You want to just control? I just wanted to show the process of clicking that sync button.
Can
and
you
then,
give me access back? Or no, I got it. Okay. So go into one of the Teams channels.
just in the file sections.
So let's pretend I hit sync. I mean, I guess I can do it. I think I'm already syncing it, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've clicked sync, so now, right, I should be able to come to that location you were showing before.
Yeah, so there's a new, I don't know if you guys can see it really well, but this icon right here is kind of like a new icon. It's this little blue building and it represents your organization. So that's where any location that you sync will show up under this list, just like a map network drive would. And then your OneDrive, if you're logged into it, will be right underneath. So if you're logged into both those systems, it's really easy. You can access all the same stuff you're used to in the same way that you're used to through that file explorer instead of having to use Teams.
So we're in PC Techs Inventory 2024, so I can get to that. And this is handy, right? You don't have to go and download the file. Like say you needed to send it to someone. You don't have to go download the file, grab it out of your downloads and send it to someone. If you do this sync, you can just access it like it's already on your computer.
Oh, so, yeah, just go access it.
Yeah.
You can attach files out of it.
You don't need to send it at all.
And you don't even have to go, like if I needed to work on this file, I don't have to go to Teams, find the file within my Teams. I'm just going to come to my file explorer and access it here. Okay, so which often I actually go to my Teams because it's still, like you talked about, there's a lot going on with where are these things at. But I really wouldn't have to go into Teams if I've done the sync. My file, if I'm trying to access that 2024 file, I can open it right from here.
And because of where it is, it still automatically saves, right?
You'll see right up here, you'll see right there, it's going to warn me, hey, we're automatically saving your stuff.
And then it automatically saves it in Teams.
Exactly, because it's like Teams and what I just did are just ways to access it on the cloud, right? It's really out on the cloud. I'm just using different ways to get to the cloud, which sometimes maybe is a little bit more complicated. If we just said access it this way, we're trying to give you multiple ways to access it, which actually makes it, I think, a little bit more complicated sometimes. But we want you to be
If you're not connected then to internet, I'm on the plane, I gotta turn off my Wi-Fi. As long as I've got the settings right on my OneDrive, then I can still work on that document when I get into a Wi-Fi zone.
So right here, yeah, go ahead.
So yeah, in this, you can see that some of these have the cloud icons. Once you guys use OneDrive, you'll get this new status where we've got the green check mark on that one. That means it's downloaded locally. So that's.
Can you tell us again how to get to OneDrive?
At the bottom right of your screen here, there should be a blue cloud. If you can't see it, you might have to click that arrow.
Well, this brought the news out.
It's a cloud looking thing.
It was on mine, but I don't know how I got to it.
So if you don't see it yet, so if you clicked your little arrow, right, and it's not there.
This?
That means we're already on it.
No, doesn't necessarily. So
That arrow?
you don't see, I think so. My eyesight's terrible.
Well, there's plenty of wood around there too, Courtney.
Yeah, thank you. Make me not see that. No, you don't have it either. So
Well,
what
that is good.
So hit your search, type here to search, down in the bottom left. It's where you go to like search for programs. And type the word OneDrive or type and that will open the app. So if it's not down in that tab, it's because it hasn't opened yet. So
okay.
there you go.
Oh.
And then it's going to sign you in. We should be sharing your guys' screen too. So.
Yeah, I couldn't even get mine to open.
It's not doing anything yet. It's thinking. Oh, I think that's what it is. Something right there now.
Yeah, so now it's going to be like, oh, we're syncing things.
Yeah. Oh, this is good. Okay.
So what it's asking you is, hey, I see you have pictures, documents, and desktop. Do you want to sync those out to OneDrive right now? That's totally up to you. Do you want your, sure, okay. I think it's never a bad idea. Because if something were to die on your computer, those files are now out on the cloud.
I need to uninstall my other because I screwed up. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
So now it's connected to Microsoft Outlook, emails, files.
I mean, right now, because you've opened up OneDrive, all it's really doing is If you hadn't ever stored anything out there, it's a blank spot, people will save files. There's no necessarily linking happening at this point, except you linked your desktop documents and pictures, so those are gonna sync. But if you wanna do the Teams portion of this, you're gonna have to do that extra step of syncing right there at that top. So now you can see on the left-hand side, you've got a OneDrive option.
Yes.
Yep, so if you click inside that, you're now gonna see your desktop documents, and it looks like you had some stuff in there from previously.
Right.
So right now, you've now linked your files on your computer, you would need to go into Teams and do that sync to get your Teams in there.
This is kind of just a side note, but if you do teach in these rooms on an instructor computer, when you guys come in and you try to log into OneDrive, you'll have to duo prompt. And then if you wanted to access Outlook, you would also have to duo prompt again. One of the things you can do on any of the instructor computers is if you just click into the search bar once you log in, there'll be this button up here, and it'll say verify your account. If you duo prompt once, then you can access all of your LCSC.edu resources, again, without even logging in. It just passes that token over.
Do all of the workstations have a USB-C connection now?
No.
So for those of us that have dongles that are USB-C, do we have adapters available?
We have, the newer rooms, the rooms with the newer computers will have USB-C. I don't think we have USB-C to regular USB to USB-C adapters.
Are you wanting for video or for data?
For the dongle, if I have to duo.
Oh, I see. No, you'd want to get one. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't have any.
Check.
So.
That's the.
Yeah, I didn't realize you had a duo dongle. I thought you were talking about for video.
No, we're good.
Does anyone have a specific use case in mind for Teams or something they're considering that they'd like to ask about?
What's the question again?
Do you have a specific use case that you're thinking Teams might apply to or something like that, or just any questions in general?
Stop sharing so you can reshare.
Are there benefits to keep, scenarios to keep things just on the shared drive? Imagine things that need to be more secure.
With the versioning that's available through SharePoint, that would be the other main benefit of having something on a network drive, is we have versioning on our network drives too. Outside of the increased security and the sort of information you would store, I don't think there's any benefit to having it on our servers versus Microsoft's. You always have even if you're getting on that plane, you have to go offline. If you know that a half hour early, you can right-click the folder that you want and say, store on my computer. And then when you get off the airplane, it'll sync that information back up to the cloud. And so there are workarounds, but everything is a little bit more complicated because you have to account for it.
Oh, I was just going to say, because we have a lot of, in nursing and health sciences, we have a lot of working documents. And so we feel like Teams is great for working and editing things, because every time you go into a Microsoft software, it's always in edit mode. So people can make mistakes or change things or delete things. So we feel like final product we save on our server, because then it's harder to edit, if that makes sense. You can change your viewpoint and put view instead, in Excel and Word or, all of that. But I think we felt and the FERPA protected information we have on the server, because we do a lot of management of a lot of students. So we just tend not to do it on Teams. It's just not as secure, I think, so.
Yeah, I think that's good. That's a good methodology that works for your department.
Yeah, and it's nice though to have working documents.
Yeah, one of the advantages to any of the documents that are in Team or OneDrive is you can work on them collaboratively. And so I can have my document open, I can be writing it at the same time. Courtney can be in my document working on her section, or maybe she's adding comments as I'm writing. Traditionally on the local server, if one person has that open, that document's locked. So that's another benefit, but that's a great point, that it does make it easier to change things.
Yeah.
Does it show you that Courtney's also working on this document or something?
Does,
so you
yeah.
can see
a little
what happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll see all of the people working on it in the top right for icons, and then you'll actually see where they're working in the document. They'll get their initials.
Can I just make an unorganizational comment?
Mhm.
If you right click on one of your folders, you can actually change the color of it.
Ooh.
So you can group folders by colors and stuff.
That's not a bad, I mean, I like that, yeah.
I like using.
Color.
Did you reshare your screen for the recording? Sorry.
Well, those things are, that's just great, just it's a quicker thing, you're just like, oh, yeah, go for
Yeah, and if
it.
you have all these, and then maybe these ones all work together with the same project or something. You know?
Seeing your display screen, or your,
Does it change the color of the file or the folder for everyone or just you?
for everyone.
For everyone that's gonna see it, I mean, I think that everybody sees it as that color.
Yeah, that would be my assumption. I didn't know about the colors before just now, so I can't say for sure, but I would assume that it works the same as like when you're organizing by color in Outlook.
Correct. Yep. Did you do that in Outlook?
Jordan, how do you change your tile icons?
My tile icons. For like the actual team.
Yes.
I think that's just in manage team, so the ... next to your team, and then the ... here.
It doesn't have a list view, I have a tile view.
You could get the 3 dots maybe next to there. You might get the same options he's getting.
But when I go there.
Yeah, manage team.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I missed your step. How'd you get there from?
So there should be a ... next to the team once you're in it, and then manage. Actually, you can just go straight to edit team from here. I went manage and then edit. But.
Okay. And then from there, it just, do you have the edit option?
I do not.
What was can you go to the 3 dots over
I can.
here? And then edit there.
There's not.
So it's probably because you're not an owner?
I am the owner because I just created this.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I forgot about the special royal exemption.
Yeah. So the manager
And
brings up
then
this
you're
screen.
right there.
Yeah.
I don't know, we'll have to look at it.
Sweet, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, normally you can just come in here.
This is actual teams.
You can edit your team. They have these pre-made icons you can pick from, or you can upload your own image.
I like wrenches, I suppose. Tossing wrenches.
I think that is all of the points I had written down. Does anyone have any questions? Yes?
Well, I would like to highlight, sometimes when you're making a telephone call, you don't know if the person's available. You do have the ability to upload their calendar and see what's blocked out, right? But if you've already been chatting with them, it will give you their status in a color code in the chat. So perhaps somebody is in a meeting and you need to get a hold of them. It gives you an opportunity to say, oh, well, they're busy at this moment, so maybe I won't call them right now.
Yeah, anytime they have something, sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
Anytime they have something scheduled on their meeting, they'll show up with that red busy icon. And then since we're in a team, we can see that we're actually in a call. Tyler's away from his keyboard, and that's when Jody is available. So that is a great point to kind of give you some insight into what people are working on.
Are we getting rid of phones?
Are we getting rid of?
Like actual phones, office?
TBD.
Yeah,
Please wait for more information.
One of the things we're looking at is Steve's phones, but that'll be a whole different conversation.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
Guys, look at all the colors of the folders.
There are a lot of colors. I'm surprised.
I heard somebody say
You could organize files by color in Outlook, files, or just other things in Outlook?
Not files.
Okay, darn, that would be amazing.
You can.
that like by flagging.
Categorizing.
Categorizing, yeah. It's like needs attention or.
Yeah, Jen is really the one that's
I would just love it
showed
if
me
they
that
show up
stuff.
on the side in a color, just because I have so many.
We'll have to do an Outlook one pretty soon.
So how do we see, are students going to be utilizing this?
Our student's going to be
Utilizing their students? environments more than?
Yes.
That's the expectation.
Once we complete the transition from Gmail to Teams, then as soon as that happens, all of this is an advantage to making that transition.
And then how does that work with Canvas and some of those functions?
So we're planning to use a system called single sign-on. So right now the students have to know their Warrior Web, their Canvas, LC Mail, probably a couple others. We're going to try to put all of that behind their new Microsoft account. So they'll log in with that Microsoft account. It'll give them access to Canvas, to Warrior Web, to those things.
So will the expectation be, is it Zoom that's in Canvas right now that they're using for meetings, or is it?
Zoom's not gonna go away.
Okay.
For faculty at least.
Okay.
There's a lot of benefit to utilizing Zoom, so.
But that's probably what students would use, like Teams, instead of, like, if they have a class online that they need to meet, like a virtual online, would they be using Zoom still?
Currently, do they?
Yeah.
Currently, students use Zoom. I think they can still just continue using Zoom. Yeah. They wouldn't have to use Teams. Maybe they might like doing it, but, yeah, I think that does get it gets a little muddy when we have two video conferencing systems, but I know there was a real need to keep Zoom for faculty in their online classes, because Zoom's had some better tools than what Teams does. So now that we're going to be bringing students over to Teams, that is a good point to might be a good thing to talk to figure out, like, how are we going to communicate with our students? Are we going to still rely on Zoom, or, yeah, I don't know if it has to be a holistic thing with the college, or if that really is going to be each instructor gets to decide.
So we're not getting rid of Zoom, are we?
What's that?
We're not getting rid of Zoom for students.
Well, I mean, okay, thank you. I was gonna say, we really don't have it for students, but for.
Yeah, just for like if they miss a lecture or whatever.
Yeah, nobody's told me we're getting rid of Zoom, so.
Does Teams do something similar, like record it and what have you?
Gordon and I are doing right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is our meeting we're in. I've got the share button at the top there. It's really similar to Zoom. Zoom does have some better integrations for like Canvas and stuff like that. A lot of the features that I've talked about, the collaborative, adding like YouTube videos and stuff to the channel, all of that would really need to be driven by the professor for their class.
So if I go to my channel, let's say, and I start the video, can anybody that goes on that channel also click on the little video thing and join the same video, or do you have to schedule a meeting?
I'm pretty sure you can ad hoc just start a meeting.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I haven't tested that specific feature. That was one of the things I was looking for.
Oh, there's a meet now. So
yeah, I think I've accidentally clicked on that, and all of a sudden it sends it to everybody in the, or like, yeah. I don't know if it might even call them.
It pops up a little icon that says, like, Jenna Chambers has started a meeting.
Okay, there you go. Yeah.
So I would assume so, but don't know for sure.
Yeah.
With the YouTube thing specifically.
Oh, for the YouTube thing? Not for, I don't know about the.
Yeah, for the meetings, absolutely, you can drop in and out. So I would assume that would be the way it would work with the videos.
I understand that you have a resource on your website that has little videos of snippets on how to do Teams.
We do. You have.
Yeah, so let's show them how to get to IT's website, I guess, and then we'll show you where it's at. And we'll add some of this information onto our page too, some frequently asked questions. Like people are asking about version history and how do you change the look of your tiles. And then it's under faculty and staff resources. And then there's one that's called Microsoft Teams. I've got it alphabetically organized, I think.
Right.
On the right.
Trending videos, there you go.
Does this, do you have OneDrive connections to or training videos like that? Can I cover that?
No, but we could look at getting some links to it.
That would be cool.
Actually, we have can you go back to IT's page? And then we had when we moved from Redwood to using OneDrive, there you go. So we have some, I think there might be information at the very bottom for some information. Nope. Okay, we'll put some links for about how to access.
OneDrive. So yeah, I guess long story short, Microsoft has a wonderful way of integrating all their systems that makes it really convoluted and just murky to get through. But I do feel like if you kind of take a more goal-oriented approach when you're doing Teams, so instead of saying, oh, what are all the things I can do, it's this is my goal, how can I do that using Teams? It's a much more direct line, and it's a lot easier to figure out. So we're always happy to help with those questions at the help desk. You want to call us? Anything else? Do I get to bang a gavel and say dismissed, or how's this work? Oh, that'd be nice. Maybe
A chime or something.
So thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.